Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. Today, we're going to be talking about guild contribution. We're going to be talking about guild quests. We're going to be talking about feeding the statues. And we're going to be talking about what your people should be doing in your guild, why they're not doing it, and what the optimal way to approach this is. If you're a guild leader, you're going to want to watch this video, and you're going to want to have your guild members watch it too. Let's go ahead and dig in. Now, I'm putting my guild on full display here with their permissions, but probably the biggest thing and the most interesting thing is that compared to most of my guild, my free-to-play players are the ones who contribute the most. Now, guild contribution is a little bit based on how long a member has been in your guild. So in a situation like this, you can see Postponed and Ivar joined around the same time, whereas Roxas was a newer recruit. So I obviously can't hold everyone to the same expectations, but it's been really clear to me that we have been missing attacks, missing guild statues, well, not missing attacks, but missing guild feedings, missing, guild quests because they are obnoxious or there are a couple clicks, or maybe you have a suboptimal team. So we're going to try and talk about that just a little bit here. Let's talk about guild quests, because I think for most people, guild quests are extremely annoying. And that's because they take a while to get in, you have to have an optimized setup for them, and you have to skip them 3 times or 4 times a day. Now, you do get some awesome EXP, but it just is a little bit much, and even some of my own members admitted that they skipped this. And I'm here to tell you, do not skip this, and let me show you why, because a lot of people are skipping it. And it's not just in my guild, it's not just in, some lower tier guild, or this is happening in top 100 guilds, this is happening in top 10 guilds, this is happening in all guilds. The first thing you need to know, before we even get into guild quests fully, is that guild quests do have a cap on the amount of EXP you can get and the victory count that you can get. So on guild quest number 1, your total victory count should be 14, max EXP 30. Guild quest number 2, victory count 19, total EXP 100. And guild quest number 3, victory count 25, guild quest EXP 220. The first thing you need to do is make sure that you're running your guild quest with an optimized formation to hit these numbers. Now, you are going to need to do your best VCs, your best espers, your best units. You can't just go to whatever your farming party is or whatever your residence party is and farm these missions, because it's detrimentally impacting your guild. Now, when it comes to the actual statue EXP, each individual player contributes 350 EXP per day, assuming they do all 3 of these quests. That means if you have 30 members in a guild, that is 10,500 EXP per day. For us right now, we are the guild statue here that has 175,556 EXP to go. For us, it would take 17 more days for us to level up and hit level 6. Now, do I think it's going to take 17 days? No, it's probably going to take 25 or 26, because not everybody is doing the guild quests, and bet your ass I'm going to be watching for the next couple weeks. Now, to give you an idea of how bad or how many misses we have had, I kind of went on exploratory journey and took a look at a whole bunch of different statues, some in the top 10 guilds. And I did get an image from Visipur statue, who is the current number 1 guild. Now, the above shows that they have probably about 120,000 more EXP than us, right? So I did the math because I was curious, how many times do you have to not do guild quests to be this far behind another guild? So when I looked at the difference, there were 352 missed attacks. That's over 1,000 plus missed quests in my guild because people were too lazy to do the guild quests, or they were not able to complete the guild quest sufficiently, right? Or they're using their farm group. Now remember, you have 30 attacks per day, so that's literally about 11 days worth of not, like, the entire guild not doing the guild quest because either you forgot or you're doing it halfway, or, you know, whatever the excuse is. So my biggest call out here to all of you is to do the goddamn guild quest. Like, I know it's a pain in the ass, but we have to do it. You get rewards, you get guild tokens, which is another part of why I think this is so important, because it affects the amount of guild tokens that you get, which also affects how much you can feed the other statues. What do I mean by that? Well, let's talk about the other statues, right? So before I talk about kind of the guild token breakdown and what you should be looking at, let's look at the guild statues. Feeding is basic. We've all been doing feeding since we started the game. Each member can feed 600 EXP per day, right? That's if they feed 3 golden food items. That at 30 members contributing is about 18,000 EXP per day. For a level 7 to 8 statue, that's gonna take about 78 days of everybody feeding that one statue, which is not reasonable because of how you can acquire food items. Usually you would basically have to level statues in sets of 2, or potentially sets of 3. And it takes a level 6 to 7 statue about 50 days, right? So I was curious again, and I was curious what my guild's feeding, right? So I took another guild's statues and I mathed out the EXP difference between us and them. And this other top guild had 312,486 more EXP fed than us. That's the equivalent of 520 missed feeds, the equivalent of not feeding your statues for 17 days. That, or we were feeding Gil or subpar food to kind of lower our results. So there is, you know, there's this perception that like, oh, I'll feed silver items today, right? Or I have these silver items, I'm gonna feed the silver food. When you're feeding silver food, you're basically having your contribution to the guild. And imagine how many other people are saying, oh, I have the silver food, I'm just gonna pop the silver food in, right? And then imagine that 78 days, right? If everybody's doing that off and on, you know, that 78 days is all of a sudden going to double, right? Or we're going to add another, you know, 35 days onto that, right? And if you're looking in the context of all the statues, if you instead have gold food for another statue and would have just fed that gold food to the other statue, you would be leveling all of your statues faster in the long run than if you had fed silver food to a statue at all. And this is kind of my big picture, right? Because guilds are all about the long run. They're all about the long-term time of investment. And if you are feeding silver food, it is extremely detrimental to your guild's progress. Let's talk about kind of how you should be feeding and how many tokens you get per day. Now, each golden food is 125 guild tokens in the store. That means to buy 3 golden foods, it is 375 guild tokens daily. Now, the problem that you're going to run into, right, is that you're buying 3 different golden types of food, which means that you can't invest in one single statue. Instead, you're going to be feeding 3 gold items to 3 different statues over the course of 3 days. Now, you may get golden food of like the lion statue some other way, in which case, yeah, if you're focused on the lion statue, feed that golden food first. But again, you should never feed silver food. You should always feed golden food. So feed that golden food to, you know, the bull statue, feed it to one of the other statues. The moral of the story here is you should always be feeding golden food, because otherwise you are going to be drawing out the duration to statue completion for your guild. Every guild wants every statue leveled. So of course there are some that are better, like lion and bull in my opinion. But if you can pick 3 to focus on your guild, As a guild leader, you can have 600 EXP contribution asks from your guild members every day on this. Now, you should be able to buy 3 golden foods every day. And this is from a guild that's not in a top 10. This is us, right? And let me break it down for you. You get 220 guild tokens from the 3 guild quests that are available. That's enough to basically almost buy 2 golden foods, right? So if you're not running the guild quest, you're not going to have enough tokens to buy the golden food. So you're like half-assing your contribution to your guild from the beginning. You get 30 from your daily gift, assuming everybody is attending and gifting. Our guild on average gets 350, right? Whether we win or lose, on average, it kind of breaks down to about 350 per day. You get 30 tokens from feeding golden food to the statues. So in total, this is 630 total guild tokens per day, at least in my guild. This is not including event guild tokens, guild quest events, daily participation, leader rewards, and what any other source of guild tokens there may be. So there is no excuse to not buy golden food and contribute daily. Now, there are some people, when I brought this up with my guild, that said, I'm selfish, I want to use it to buy Ice Awakening prisms or fragments, right? And that's understandable. I get that, right? But that is still not an excuse. Like, you still get, if you are doing your daily guild quest, if you are gifting daily, if you are feeding golden food daily, right? You're still getting more than enough guild tokens to actually go and purchase those things or purchase the rainbow fragments, etc., right? Like, there is more than enough ways to go about purchasing everything. Now, the only time where it may be acceptable probably to not purchase triple golden food all the time would be if you are in a guild that is like way lower in ranks, right? But even then, even at like a fresh guild, you're still getting 200 or 430-ish guild tokens per day if you are doing everything, right? Maybe not from the guild quest because the guild quests aren't fully leveled up. Maybe you're getting like 350, right? Maybe you're getting 300. You can still do or purchase golden food to help accelerate that process in your guild. I think there are many guilds out there right now who are not doing this, my guild included, right? Even in top 10 guilds, guild quests, who wants to do that? That's 3 more clicks. We have to do it, you guys. Lord have mercy, please do it. Anyway, that was my TLDR on guild quests and guild food. For all the guild leaders out there, I hope you feel my frustration. As always, shout out to the members in my guild who have been free to play since literally day 1. Literally fucking rank 80 wears my pants is a top contributor in my guild, and he's fucking free to play. Like, come on, guys, come on. Get your act together. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.